Hello dear students, welcome to the class on cholinergic agents. So let us see what are the drugs which comes under cholinergic agents. So first we'll see about the muscarinic agonist. Second we have cholinesterase inhibitors. Third we have anti-muscarinic agents. And fourth we have cholinesterase reactivators. So under muscarinic agonist, you need to remember 4 drugs. Apart from acetylcholine, other 4 drugs which you need to remember is the pilocarpine, methacholine, methanacol and carbachol. Please remember that P stands for pupil. So pilocarpine is used in the treatment of glaucoma because it causes pupillary constriction, thereby it decreases the crowding of the iridocorneal angle, thereby facilitating the outflow of the aqueous humor through canal of shell. So, and also this pilocarpine can also be used in case of conditions associated with dry eye, dry mouth, and in condition where there will be a presence of dry mouth and dry eye, like conditions like Sjogren syndrome. You can use pilocarpine because it stimulates the secretion of the lacrimal secretion as well as the salivary secretion. So next, methacholine. So you remember methacholine, M for myocardium. It is predominantly present in the myocardium, but it is mainly used for checking the bronchial challenge test or for bronchial hyperreactivity testing. And next, coming to the methanacol. So methanacol, please remember that B stands for bladder. B stands for bladder. So it is used in the treatment of postoperative paralytic ileus as well as postoperative urinary retention. And we have a carbachol, which is mainly used in the treatment of glaucoma, but it is rarely used, but it has got predominant action on the nicotinic system compared to the other muscarinic agents. So next, moving on to the cholinesterase inhibitor, we have neostigmine, pyridostigmine, hydrophonium, physostigmine, donepezil, icothiopate, galantamine and rivastigmine. So neostigmine is mainly used in the treatment of myasthenia gravis, and also you can use in the treatment of postoperative paralytic ileus as well as urinary retention, and also to reverse the neuromuscular block which is produced by non-depolarizing neuromuscular blockers. And also it can be used in case of cobra bite, but in cobra bite the antivenom will be the preferred first choice. So here you need to remember that pyridostigmine is a longer acting drug when compared to the neostigmine. So pyridostigmine can be used in myasthenia gravis whenever the patient is not able to take neostigmine. Then next we have a hydrophonium. So hydrophonium is also a anticholinesterases. So when compared to neostigmine and pyridostigmine, hydrophonium has got very short acting off life. That is the reason why it is used as a diagnostic test in differentiating between the myasthenia gravis and the cholinergic crisis. And we have a physostigmine which can be used in the treatment of glaucoma. And we have donepezil, which is used in the treatment of Alzheimer's disease. So along with donepezil, even the galantamine and rivastigmine are used in Alzheimer's disease. And among the irreversible cholinesterase, so only the icothiopate can be used in case of glaucoma, whereas other irreversible cholinesterase inhibitor like carbamates and organophosphate compounds are poisonous in nature, mainly because they are used as insecticides and pesticides. Next, moving on to the anti-muscarinic agent. These are the drugs which block the muscarinic receptor. We have atropine derivatives like scopolamine, hyoscine. Scopolamine is also called as hyoscine. We have benzatropine, ipratropium, oxybutynin. So atropine, please remember, it is an antidote for OP compound poisoning as well as the carbamate poisoning. So it also used in the treatment of bradycardia, as increase in the dose of atropine will cause tachycardia due to the nicotinic stimulation. So scopolamine or the hyoscine bromide is mainly used in the form of transdermal patches in the treatment of motion sickness. So we have benztropine, benzexol, triaxiphenidil, piperidine, which are mainly used in the treatment of drug-induced Parkinson's disease. So basically this benztropine, piperidine and benzexol are the centrally acting anticholinergic agent. Next we have ipratropium bromide and tiotropium bromide, which are available in the form of inhalational drugs. It is mainly used in the treatment of COPD and bronchial asthma, where it reduces the bronchial hyperreactivity as well as bronchoconstriction caused by acetylcholine. So we have oxybutynin, which can be used in case of urinary incontinence. So there are other drugs like flavoxate, etc. So they can also be used in case of urinary retention. Next, we have a cholinesterase reactivators. Example is oximes. Under oximes, you have pyrrolidoxime. So it's mainly used in the treatment of OP compound poisoning along with the atropine. So the reason for using pyrrolidoxime is to cause enzyme reactivation, to reactivate the acetylcholine esterase. So remember, it is only used in case of OP compound poisoning, not in case of carbamet, because the anionic site on the acetylcholine esterase will be occupied by the carbamates, but the anionic site in the OP compound poisoning will remain vacant on the acetylcholine esterase. So the pyrrolidoxime can bind to the anionic site which is present on the acetylcholine esterase, and it combines with the OP compound which has already bind to the esteric site of the acetylcholine esterase. So they form a complex and they dissociate from the enzyme, and it will be released through the, it will be getting excreted through the urine because of their water solubility. So this was about the cholinergic agents. So if you find this video useful, please do subscribe to my channel and do not forget to share and hit the like button and bell icon for more updates on pharmacology. Thank you.